Come here right here each and every Saturday from just about that time, the 6 o'clock time in our region, that is the Caribbean region. It's always a pleasure to have you folks on board with yours truly each and every time whenever we have this program. Yes, when we have this program each and every Saturday. All right. And so this evening it's going to be another very interesting program. What I want to tell you straight off the bat, that it will be sort of a truncated or shortened version tonight. And the primary or sole reason being, some of us have to attend to the Calypso, the big night, the Calypso finals tonight that is taking place at the forecourt of the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. And so in all trueness, in terms of keeping with time and preparation, I decided to truncate tonight's program at least by half an hour, so that will give you guys, ample enough time to make yourself feel very, very comfortable at the forecourt, that is, so that you can see 10 calypsonians tonight. I call them 10 gladiators. They will be vying for that coveted crown tonight of Calypso monarch in Dominica. I cannot say Calypso king because we have 3 women in the race vying for that coveted title, and so it is the Calypso monarchy that is the most sought after thing tonight where these calypsonians are concerned. So we wish each and every one of them well. Brother Trilogy has been reigning for the past year as the Calypso monarch in Dominica, and so we want to thank him for his services rendered as king. But tonight it is up for grabs. So he may retain that crown, or someone else may have that crown be placed on their head tonight. All right. But whatever it is tonight, I just ask you guys to go out there, those of you in Dominica, and be part of the Calypso finals tonight. It may be history in the making one way or the other, and I know you'd want to be part of that. All right. I don't like people to tell me things as it pertains to Calypso and the competitions. I like to see for myself, hear for myself, so I can make that judgment, because we know Calypso, there's always some kind of controversy. But then when you get it from 3rd and 4th parties, it is normally skewed in a particular direction. So I like to be there for myself. So I will be, most likely, when I'm done with you guys tonight, I'll be making my way to the Windsor Park Sports Stadium so that I too can be there live, so I can support the art form in Dominica. And I wish you guys the same. In terms of the weather, Dominicans, it is sort of rainy from since when? Yesterday. Yes, yesterday. And so those of you going out tonight, please walk with something warm. Walk with your umbrellas, your raincoats, whatever it is that you need to walk with in order to prevent the showers that we have been getting of late to do a number on you. All right. And so I wish you guys a very, very good evening, as those of you who will be attending tonight's show in the flesh. Those of you who will be viewing it online as well, especially those of you overseas, pleasant viewing as well. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Where are we going tonight, Dominicans? As I said, tonight, well, I didn't say that yet. No, tonight being the 10th of February 2024, and it's always a pleasure to welcome you here, each and every one of you. I put you guys in the 3 F's category, and that is the friends, fans, and foes, because I know there are many of you on the live, those of you with different kind of agenda. All right, so whatever it is, be it a friend, be it a fan, be it a foe, like the brother Malcolm X, he always greeted those who did not support him on his mission in the 60s and 70s. All right, you guys keep everything, grounded, as it were. So thank you all. Thank you one. Thank you all. Dominicans, where are we going tonight? Let me just start by saying we have a number of issues to touch tonight in the limited time we have, so we have to get through it. First and foremost, there will be a very important engagement happening in Dominica sometime next week, and that is as it relates to the double homicide situation that we had in the south of Dominica. That is where Mr. Daniel Langlois and his partner Dominic Masha, they were basically brutally slain, I must say, and their body, there was not an attempt, there was a cover-up, sort of try to cover up that brutal crime in terms of the burning of the bodies. In terms of the attempt, what I could say before, there was an attempt now to get rid of these two bodies, but you know, the good Lord have a way of showing up certain things and showing up certain people. As we speak, 2 men are in custody as it relates to this brutal crime, and so next week there's going to be a very interesting engagement in Dominica as it pertains to a follow-up, and I'm specifically talking now from the Canadian Authority. Well, no, let me take that back. Not from the Canadian Authority, but from some Canadians. They will be doing some kind of following up, digging through as it pertains to that matter. All right? I'm still trying to piece together as to where exactly is that the Dominica Authority and the Canadian Authority jointly, they are on that case. And so once I get factual, updated information, you can count on me to bring it to you in a very factual manner. All right? But I can tell you that in terms of just that, for an update next week, that there will be some sort of engagement from Canadians who will be looking into that very brutal and horrendous crime indeed. All right? Just in terms of another update as we're moving on here, what I can tell you, again from a very factual standpoint, is that our CBI program in Dominica, and by extension the Caribbean, but we're in Dominica, so I choose to stick to Dominica for now. The Dominica CBI program have been reeling for some time under some measures that have been placed on it by certain authorities out there, namely the United States of America and the United Kingdom. And based on what I'm getting from my wires, factually that is, there are much stiffer situations that will be attached to our CBI program. And so those of us who are in Dominica who think that the CBI program, it is the Lord and Savior of us in Dominica, then we need to do something about it in terms of rectifying it so that at least the global architecture would be benefiting from your moves in Dominica, all right? But that is what I can tell you. There are much more stiff regulations coming our way in Dominica pretty soon as it pertains to the citizenship by investment program. All right, so when you hear it, folks, don't say I didn't tell you. It's in the pipeline. It's coming through. We will be going through at least 4 or 5 situations tonight in terms of information, that is. There was a young lady in the name of Miss Alifia Reed from Fonkole. I had an interview with her some time back, and that interview primarily was about some eviction notice that she got from the powers that be, where since after Hurricane Maria, she had been taking shelter in the community center at Fonkole. I will be giving you an update as to where that situation is, as to Mrs. Reed's plight. Also too, in the spirit of the carnival celebrations in Dominica, the church, in particular the Catholic Church, sent out a letter primarily to the Catholic people in Dominica, and by extension Dominicans by and large. I'll be reading to you guys that letter and giving you the essence of it, and see what sense you can make from it in terms of the advice from the Catholic Church in Dominica. Also, folks, last week I think you saw a video circulating around where, from the Goodwill Secondary School standpoint, a young man in school uniform in a classroom setting, he and a teacher, based on what the video presented to us, he and a teacher, I believe, had some kind of confrontation in a classroom. I'll be going through that video if I find to come this evening, because that is one thing I've been speaking about for some time now, but it seems as if it has been falling on deaf ears. And so when things like that are captured on video, it basically tells us that what yours truly have been saying for some time. Some of our secondary school children in Dominica in particular, things are not right here. And so we have to step it up as parents, as guardians, as persons who care for our children in particular. All right, so that video is coming up in just a bit. Also, we have been hearing much talk about the DPP and the holder of the DPP's position, that is Sherman Dalrymple by name, and also the situation if she and this calypsonian, Murphy John Jules, I believe is his name. I'll be giving you my take on that situation, so you can look forward to that as well. All right. Also to Dominicans, finally, but by no means least, tomorrow on the Civic Vibes program is a continuation of where we left off last week, whereby they're both doctors, Brother Ian Jackson and also Mr. Alex Bruno. They pledged last week to continue on that conversation, really at form, the whole carnival celebrations, but zeroed in particularly on the calypso competition, to be precise. And so these two gentlemen, they will be continuing tomorrow with us on the Civic Vibes program. There's much more, especially in the light of this letter from this DPP. We'll be touching much more aspects of the art form in Dominica with these two esteemed gentlemen tomorrow on the Civic Vibes program. All right, folks. So in terms of just giving us a snapshot as to where we go tonight, that is the snapshot. And in the interest of time, I certainly will not be going through the names of you guys tonight on the list. So just bear with me tonight. But first and foremost, in terms of content for the program tonight, let me just tell you guys that Miss Reed, Alifia Reed, she got a letter from the Minister of Housing, I believe, yes. And so I'll be reading that letter to you guys in just a while. Let me see if I can just pull up that letter and read through it as we start our program here in earnest tonight, all right? Let me just see if I could pull up that letter right here. Yep. Okay, let me just pan that so you guys could have a sneak peek as well as to that letter as we get going here. It is already what, 6:21, so we are in a reasonable time. Remember, folks, the program is truncated tonight by half an hour, so by 7:30 we will be out of here. All right. Yes, so that letter, it is dated Commonwealth, it is headline, sorry, the heading of the letter, Commonwealth of Dominica, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Housing Division, 23rd of January 2024, so that was sometime last month. Alithia Reed, Fonkoli, Commonwealth of Dominica. It says here, Dear Miss Reed, I am pleased to advise you that your application for a housing lot has been successful. You have been allocated a lot number 349 in the Fonkoli Housing Scheme settlement containing 991 square feet. The price has been set at $8 per square feet. It says square feet, but it's supposed to be square foot. But we know how that goes sometimes in terms of typo error. Thus, making a total amount of $7,920 payable to the Housing Division, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. The letter continues by saying, in addition to the amount, an amount of $415 is required to cover the cost of survey and preparation of plans for the lot in question. Again, let me read that again. An additional amount of $415 is required to cover the cost of survey and preparation of plans for the lot in question. This amount is payable to the Land and Service Division of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. Possession of the allocated lot is subject to the following conditions. 1. Land shall be used for residential purposes only. 2. Indication of acceptance as well as payment and completion of all sales transactions shall be made within 3 months of notification from the Housing Division. 3. Full payment for the lot shall be completed before the commencement of any construction on the allocated lot. And 4. Planning Division shall be sought and obtained from the Physical Planning Division before the commencement of construction. 5. No subdivision or transfer of land before 10 years without the prior consent of government. Again, let me just go through the conditions that have been laid down in order for Ms. Reed to get hold of that piece of land in Fonkoli. Let me just go through that again. The conditions are: 1. Land shall be used for residential purposes only. 2. Indication of acceptance as well as payment and completion of all sale transactions shall be made within 3 months of notification from the Housing Division. Remember, folks, we saw a date up there dated 24th, I believe, of January 2024. All right? Keep that in mind. 3. Full payment for the lot shall be completed before the commencement of any construction on the allocated lot. And planning permission shall be sought and obtained from the Physical Planning Division before the commencement of construction. And 5. No subdivision or transfer of land before 10 years without the prior consent of government. The letter ends by saying, please note that failure to comply with the above mentioned condition will result in the automatic repossession of the property. Again, let me take that line. Please note that failure to comply with the above mentioned condition, well, there are more than one condition, so it's supposed to be conditions, but it is a condition here, will result in automatic repossession of the property. And 5, well, not 5, sorry, finally, the receipt of this letter, meaning the letter I'm reading now, does not make possession, occupation, or ownership automatic. And it ends by saying, yours faithfully, and that letter is signed by none other than Honorable Melissa Popon-Skerrit, who is the Minister for Housing and Urban Development. Okay? So, with the consent of Ms. Reed, I choose to bring you that information tonight. Now, what Ms. Reed people is asking of us as Dominicans in terms of a helping hand, it is at least this sum here, $7,928. Just call it, we were looking at $8,000 for her to purchase a piece of land from the government of Dominica at $8 a square foot in the Fonkoli area. There's an additional cost of $415, which is supposed to be going to prepare the survey plans and such and such and such, you know. But that chunk here, Miss Reed is really looking for your help, my help, in terms of helping her purchase that piece of lot, that land from the government, so that at least her housing situation can be much more comfortable in moving forward. All right. We all heard a story already. Those of you who have not heard, you can go under my page and that interview is somewhere around there. All right. So that is what the situation is in terms of an update. So basically, after this back and forth with land, and she wanted some land to build. The minister, that is Melissa Skerritt, stepped in based on the letter that we're reading and is offering her that piece of land. But critically, people, there is a timeline allocated to, or associated, with the purchase of that land, which is 3 months. So we see up here that date, 23rd of January 2024. I would want to think that, now I'm subject to correction here, but I would want to think, no, I saw something below there. Let me just go back below here. I saw something below here. So maybe, okay, there's a, you cannot see it here, people, but there's a date and a time that is associated with that letter all the way in the bottom, but the computer will not pull it in any further. So, but whatever the date is in question, 3 months is what is the allotted time for Miss Reed to come up with $7,920 paid to the government, and then she can have that land in her name as her possession. All right. So what Miss Reed has asked me to ask you guys out there, I'll be giving her numbers in just a while. Please feel free to make a contribution financially to her, however you can, small as it is, large as it is, to help her come up with at least that lump sum of $7,928. All right, folks. If we look at it there, we just rough that at 8,000 EC. If 80 of us step in at $100, I just like to simplify things. If 80 of us step in as Dominicans here and abroad and contribute $100 to the cause of her obtaining that land, then that is doable. Okay? I just thought I would have punched that out there. Okay? In terms of her number, or her numbers rather, the numbers for Alifia Reed, they are 265-3881. Again, I repeat, 265-3881. And the second number, it is 316-7153. Okay? 316-7153. Yes, Jasid Leroy James, I saw you took note of the plus $415. But as I said before, you know, that is like gravy right here. This fee to go towards the service. This is what we really after. I would want to think that Alifia Reed would be able to come up with that $400 and something by her own doing. All right? But she really needs our help out there, people. I've been doing my best to try to give her the necessary expose that she needed and still needs, as she try her very best to get that land under her belt. Okay? So there are different avenues that will be sought for her, but I just decided to bring it to us tonight in terms of just where and how we can help in that regard. All right, people? Good. All right, folks, let us move on here. In the interest of time, let's move on here. We also will be dealing now, as we're moving on, another letter. Another letter, and that letter is from the Catholic Church in Dominica, as we're in the celebration spirit of Carnival. Yeah. Let me see if I can bring you that letter so that we can move on here. That letter, folks, is from the Catholic Church, as I said. It's entitled The Diocese of Roseau. That's on their letterhead. Bishop Arnold Bogart, Catholic Center, and the different information of how to get them on Turkey Lane and blah, blah, blah. It says, memorandum to all clergy of the Diocese of Roseau from Monsignor John Lewis, delegate of the Apostolic Administrator. Reference, Carnival message to be read in all churches of the Diocese of Roseau on Saturday and Sunday, February 10th and 11th, 2024, respectively. It starts by saying here, embracing Carnival, lights and shadows. Dear brothers and sisters, as we enter into the vibrant festivities of Carnival, we are reminded of the joyous spirit that permeates our communities during this time of celebration. Carnival, with its colorful parades and lively gatherings, brings people together in a spirit of camaraderie and merriment. However, it continues, as a nation that prides ourselves as, open quote, a people full of godly reverent fear, close quote, we are called to embrace the spirit of Carnival with a sense of moderation and mindfulness, never forgetting our human and Christian dignity. A dignity which demands that we reflect on the following questions. Our Carnival costumes. Do they promote the dignity of our people, especially our women? Or do they serve as catalysts, open quote, to fan the flames of immoral expressions in our people? A little hiss reflected in the skimpy costumes can cause the whole dough of immorality to rise, close quote. What example are we offering to the younger generation? Are we selling our women as objects of pleasure? Should we not be particularly concerned and horrified by the excessively revealing nature of some of these costumes promoted and presented by some bands? The letter continues by saying, our music, while we delight in our vibrant rhythms and challenging social commentaries of our calypsos, we recognize that there is a proliferation of songs with crude, vulgar, distasteful, and immoral lyrics. Should those songs be played, or should they rather be banned? Should we allow our minds of our children to be poisoned by these explicitly vulgar songs? Do they promote our dignity as a people made in the image and likeness of God? Our behavior. The festivities has been used by the unscrupulous as a cover for immoral behavior. There is a prevalence of movements and gyrations that are openly pornographic. Can we condone such behavior? What are we saying to our children, our families, and our world? Why do we continue to participate in such public indecency? I call on all Catholics and all people of goodwill, all those who understand the dignity of the human person, to join me in promoting the beauty and creativity of this season while forcefully denouncing all that leads to the moral decadence of our people and our nation, including the excessive consumption of alcohol and other drugs, skimpy costumes, vulgar songs, and immoral behavior that can only lead to the destruction of our society. The letter ends by saying, God bless our people. May we never forget our human and Christian dignity. We are called to be the salt and light for each other. Let us keep that salt and light in the artistic expressions of our Carnival blessings. All right, folks, and as I said to you before, and those of you maybe just tuning in at this time, this is a letter from the Catholic Church in Dominica from Monsignor William John Lewis, basically giving some kind of guidance as to what should go on as it pertains to the reveling and the enjoying of oneself during the carnival celebrations in Dominica. All right? So that is the words from the Diocese of Roseau to all Catholics primarily, and by extension, I'd want to thank Dominicans by large. Let me see if I can just take some of the comments here as we are moving on here, based on what have been discussed so far. Kalagai says modesty is always a good thing. Ziska Sira writes the same thing. Who make that letter make one for the PM for what he's to Dominica. Okay, Ziska, just clear that up for me as we move forward here. I think I get the gist of your statement, but just clear it up, all right? Matthew Nelson made a comment here as well. Kinsley Brooks writes here, good, very good letter. I endorse this message. Good guidance. Please listen and act accordingly and cooperatively. Anthony Ismail writes, what are we saying to the victims of murder and sexual assaults who walk away from prosecution? All right. Well, Ismail, that is, I guess that is a cause for concern as well. But the letter is specifically talking to the revelry and everything that goes on with the carnival celebrations. All right. It says here, Anthony Ismail says, come back again and says, selective outrage from the church as usual. Veronica Pascal says, very good guidance during the carnival celebrations. Let us all take heed. Carla Guy says, some music out there is very distasteful and ungodly. So I agree on that. All right. Jacid Leroy James is saying, we have to start somewhere. All right, so far, these are the comments I am seeing here. I am seeing here the conversation we have gone through so far, okay? All right, hope everybody's comfy and we are moving on with sort of, a certain level of alacrity tonight because we have to be out here at least by 7:30. All right, so that is why we are sort of going through in a very pacey condition tonight. All right, Dominicans, as I told you in the preamble of the conversation, where is this one now? There is this situation that we saw as well, the Goodwill School situation. I think we need to just stop, pull up, and have a conversation on that video in particular. All right, I think so. Let me see if we can get it going here. Right, this video, people. This video, let me just pause that here a little while. All right, for those of you who are tuning in on the live now, who have tuned in and you may not have an idea what is going on here, let me just give you guys an explanation or short synopsis as to what I think is going on here. Right here, folks, is a classroom setting in Dominica, whereby this school, the Goodwill Secondary School, they are now being housed in some kind of accommodation at the grammar school grounds. Since, as we speak, their school was torn down and is now being rebuilt, as the government says, by some firm from China. So hence they are now located on the grammar school grounds in terms of providing some classes for them as we speak. This brother here is supposed to be a student in his uniform. He has his white shirt, black pants, He's tying his net. Here I'm seeing standing in front of him is what I'm believing supposed to be a teacher. And what went on there, people, it is not just to me. I am saying that problem doesn't exist in just a vacuum. I'm going to spread it that wide, paint a broad brush and say what we have seen, those of you who have saw that video, it is a societal problem that I'm seeing there, people. And I say it without reservation. Because it cannot be, in this day and age, a child, no matter how big you are, once you're in school uniform, you are supposed to be a child. A child, a male child at that, would be in that sort of confrontational mode or mood with somebody that is supposed to be his teacher. My friends, I can tell you straight off, I'm not that old, but I'm not that young neither. When I went to school, be it primary or secondary, that situation, I could never, ever dream in my wildest of dreams confronting any teacher of mine like how this young man is basically confronting somebody that's supposed to be his elder and his teacher. That was a no-no. So we're not even going there to say, okay, let us try to make sense of what we're seeing there. That was a no-no in my days. Let me just hold on. Let me just have a background music playing there, people. Let me just make sure I get rid of that music before we continue here. All right, I have something playing in my background here in terms of music. Yes, this one. Yeah. All right, let's get back to that video. So folks, can you imagine what is going on there, people? Can you fathom? Can you try understanding what is going on there? Where a child and a teacher is in a classroom setting and is in that kind of fracas. It is just unfathomable. It cannot be. It can be perceived. I really had to look at that thing and really try to make sense of that nonsense. And so when I keep telling you guys that your children go into the schools, in particular the Goodwill Secondary School and the Dominica Grammar School, what I see with my eyes, I'm not asking anybody, what I normally see with my eyes during when these students are off from school in the botanical gardens area, you parents need to step up to the plate. The kind of a language that some of the students spew, the kind of conversations that these children supposedly have, the kind of activities that some of these children engage in, my friend, it is, I don't have words to describe these activities. And so again, I will make that special appeal again to the parents of these children. Do not think your boy or your daughter is a saint, even if they are portraying that kind of character or characteristics before you at your home. No, you need to find out for yourself what is going on with your child or your children. Some of these young children, I see them with my eyes sometimes. They are peddling drugs in school or from school. They are in the gardens area with their 5 bag and their 10 bag and whatever it is, dealing drugs. And I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Some of the conversations that these young people have, boys as well as girls, some adults, their brain cannot even start to process this kind of conversations. So here it is. Here you are seeing a clear demonstration now in video form as to the real crux, the real situation that goes on in our schools in Dominica, in our halls of education. That is a level of madness that cannot be comprehended. A child should never be in that kind of a confrontational mode with a teacher. Never. That's a no-no. I do not care what that situation is. The teacher is supposed to be the person in the classroom at the time for law and order, to have some kind of respect, some kind of order. And for a child to be standing up to a teacher like that in that manner, it says not even much about the child, but the background, the home training, the environment of the community, and everything and anything that goes along with that child. And so to me, if that child that is in the video now, his parents did not step in and take some kind of corrective measure, then I really don't know. That is unbecoming for a child in a school uniform in a classroom to be behaving like that. And you're now hearing the giggling and the gaggering that goes on where that fracas was concerned with the other students in the class. What that video tells me, people, is that we have a serious problem in our society to deal with. And these young people, my God, I really don't know where we are going. I really don't know. Because with that kind of attitude, these young people can get nowhere. And so it was just a very thin line there that occurred there, that boy, that child, that school child, did not punch or slap that teacher. And the teacher would retaliate, of course. And so it was a very razor-thin situation now, that something much more disastrous. Somebody could have lost their life in there. A school child could end up killing a teacher. Do we want that for our society? Do we want that for us as a people? And so, folks, I am just saying, it is past time that we have to step up as a people. Parents, Tasha P said it well in a song once, you have to take back control. You cannot have a young man or a young woman of under 18 years of age in your feet, and that is the sort of behavior that is being exuded out there. That is a no-no. I'm telling you, it is sickening to watch, much less to be in the center of it. These children, as I said, they engage themselves in all kind of activities. And that video we're watching could only be captured on a cell phone. So one of these children had their cell phone in school, taking a good recording of what was going on. Again, that is another situation that even from the school standpoint, the Ministry of Education standpoint, something needs to be done. So from the parents of that boy and these children who are behaving so unruly, so rudely, something needs to be done. The church, you guys have to step in. For some time, the church as a whole, as a body, have abdicated its responsibility to society. And I can say that with a fair level of fairness. When the church has lost its saltiness in terms of its messaging to its people, where do we go from there? The community, by extension, that boy or these children are raising up in, is no longer a community raising a child anymore. And so we are left now in a situation that the laws of the jungle, sometimes it is even an understatement to apply to somebody's situation. Because at least the jungle, there are certain natural laws and order in there as well. The Ministry of Education, the government, there's supposed to be some things put in place to curb this kind of situation. And as I said, if the family setting that brother came from did not step in and do something about that situation in terms of correcting that situation so that cannot show up itself again, then woe be unto you, whoever you are the parents. I hope you guys did something. And it is sad, people. It is very, very sad. So folks, we are dealing with a societal problem straight up. We are dealing with a societal problem. And so I just wanted to spend a little time on that, just to bring to the fore in video what we have been saying, what we have been telling you guys for some time on this program. Our children are no longer children in that aspect. Trust me. The big people activities that go on in their school uniform, some of you parents, you cannot even think of coming or wrapping your brain across or around these kind of activities. And don't take my word for it. Monitor your children. Know what they're doing. Know what they're not doing. And I agree with you, Brother Marshall. I'll put him out of class forthwith and discipline him. But again, it's not an isolated situation. It is we have to look at this thing from a holistic standpoint. It is sad, people. Very, very sad. And so I hope and pray that, whatever intervention that is needed in that boy's life and other children's life, it is begotten sooner rather than later. Folks, that is sickening. Very, very sickening. Zoro Zinpampo says, the teacher, in my opinion, did not demonstrate the skills and training to handle conflicts and confrontational situations. She should forcefully ask him to leave her class, and if he refuses, If he refuses, she should seek additional guidance. Lowering herself to his standards reflect poorly on her abilities to handle rough situations. She should be provided with additional training. And so, yes, Zoro, whoever you are, I agree with you. The teacher herself, based on what we saw in the video in terms of she trying to handle that situation, she did not handle it the best. She did not handle it the best. And so, as I said, it all stems back to the level of training which you alluded to, and sometimes everything just goes out of the window. A situation like that, a teacher herself should never be so, up in a student's face trying to get that problem under some kind of a control. That, to me, was the wrong approach. There's supposed to be some additional security or whatever it is at the school. That teacher was supposed to call on the headmaster or the teachers, the security at school, whatever it is, and get that boy, marshal him out of a class forthwith. Send him to the principal office and let them deal with him from there. But the way she was, all up and trying to, it was a very poor taste as well. And so again, miss, whoever you are, you may have been trying to correct a situation, but what I'm seeing, you may have placed yourself in that kind of situation, that something really, really rough and out of hand could have happened to you. So please, don't try that again. The school system, there's supposed to be some kind of mechanism put in place to handle situations like that. So miss, please, or you misses out there, do not put yourself in this kind of predicament. And these young men in particular, please behave you guys selves. These boys in particular come to school with all kind of weapons, with scissors, with knife, with all sharp objects, as to they're going in, it's like as they're going in Baghdad. It is sad, but very true. If we as a society don't come together and deal with these kind of situations, then, sorry to say, but Dominica's future is not very bright with these kind of characters. I can tell you that straight up. And just to close off here, never, ever in the days gone by, a situation like that would have occurred in a classroom and it would have gone, as if, well, nothing happened. Gandhi de Luce, okay, Gandhi just saying blessings here. Marjel Dura says, loved in my days at the DGS, that would never go unpunished. With the then principal Cecil Goodrich, he would be out of the door premises in double quick time. I'm sure he would get 6 on his posterior as well. Marjel is talking about the caning aspect of things that have gone out of the window as well. Marley Ostry says, I don't joke with my 10-year-old daughter. Clara Lynn Warrington says, this is happening everywhere. This is happening everywhere, just not right. Oh my God. Jeremy says, it is a societal issue, but I hasten to add that the greatest responsibility falls on the parents. Yes, I agree with you very much, Jeremy. But I'm saying, even if the parents are instilling the values and the etiquettes and whatever it is, and it is not reinforced in the schools, reinforced on the community basis, reinforced in the Ministry of Education, reinforced as a country, as a nation and a whole, then that is where we normally get this breakdown. Because 90% out of the chance, that boy parents, you talking to them, they may be in tears. They may be in tears talking to you and be telling you or telling us how good they their very best with that boy or with these children. But again, that is our reality. Very sad situation, Clarelyn says. Marshall Dira comes back and writes, as a teacher, I will put him out of my class forthwith until he is disciplined. Kingsley Brooks says the students behave in a despicable manner. However, the teacher, as the adult and the captain of the ship, should have used a different approach or strategy to mitigate the situation. Let's be balanced in our judgment of the situation. Yes, Brooks, I agree with you very well, and I agree with whoever made that statement as well. The teacher needs to sharpen up in terms of handling of situations like that. Carla Guy says, I agree with you to be a certain extent. The child should never be the child should have never disrespected the teacher. Here he's acting like a grown man with his peers, agreeing with him, causing him to continue in his mess. Medora Jacinfe Pierre writes, I wonder if he would stand up to a male teacher like that. Need more male teachers in the classroom. Well, Medora, let me tell you something. Male or female, maybe the female is a little more, suspect in that situation. Yes, I understand that. But these young people that you see there, male or female, trust me, it is very of a disastrous situation. But I get your point. Thank you. Paula Lopez says, sometimes you have to stand up to them to gain respect. We are not talking about a normal school setting. Rosie Mango writes, definitely you should be made to leave the class immediately. The situation was poorly handled. Veronica Pascal writes, really? She had the wrong approach in walking up to his face. Gerald Vidal says here, the Ministry of Education should seek to pass legislation to curb situations like these and others at schools. Shanna Kam says, sorry, it's sad to say it all started with the government system that was put in place. I'm just trying to get some new names in terms of comments here, because we have some repeat comments. Marshall Lawrence says, some students in the room are not well behaved either. Not any would seek to intervene and calm things down. We grew up like that. We had the confidence one or both would listen. All right. Someone says, if it's Mr. Simeon Joseph, that could never have happened under his watch. And your comments go on and on and on and on in terms of, the situation that we're seeing. Heath Mason James says here, I was shocked when I saw that. However, Lofty, do the teachers get supported or are they trained to deal with these situations? She has put herself at risk by going up to him and squaring him up. Yes, Dory Driger writes, hold on to the grace of God. Thanks. Thanks everyone for your prayers. All right. Any more comment? You think is me right? If my mother had to see this video, I don't think I would go home, Lofty. The belt would be awaiting me. I know that, my brother. I know that indeed, yeah? But that is our reality in Dominica, people. And we just have to try our very best to deal with this situation as they come on, one by one. All right? Good. But it is sad. Very sad of a situation indeed. All right, so Dominicans, let us continue here in terms of the rest of the information for the night. As we speak, folks, it is really pouring now. 6 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour, so we have like 24 minutes to go. Tonight's Calypso finals, it will be drenched, I can tell you that, based on what I'm hearing on the roof. Yeah, let us now dovetail into that situation. Read the DPP, the person who is in that position. That is Miss Schumer, Dalrymple, and also Brother Sai, Calypsonian Sai. We heard, and we are still hearing as to the ongoing situation, that situation where Sai sang a Calypso this year, and in one of his lines, in the second verse, I believe, basically mentioned the word DPP, or these letters DPP. And words to the effect, I'm not quoting him here, but says that the DPP, basically in a willy-nilly fashion, in terms of not sticking true to justice, is throwing out cases willy-nilly, and he was just lamenting the fact of the predicament in Dominica. And so after that, we all heard the person in that position, that is Schumer, took up side to task and basically said that by his utterances through his calypso, she was defamed, or she's been defamed, and that she went to the court to seek some redress there. And this letter, whatever it says, to the radio stations, cannot play a song, or whatever it is. But Dominicans, my spin on that, and I'm a very straight shooter, I say it as it is. My spin on that is, the portion of scripture doesn't come to mind now. But that portion of scripture says, the evil flee, meaning the evil people, they run when no one is in pursuit of them. And it ends by saying, but the righteous one is as bold as a lion. But the first part is really where I want to join my efforts in condemning Sherma the Rimple as the DPP in Dominica for going after Sai and even seeking the court's intervention now, trying to shut up a calypsonian, first and foremost, because he is, or he was at the time, representing himself as a calypsonian. He's a police officer by profession, but in that situation, Sai was doing what a number of other persons doing in Dominica, singing calypsos. And we all know the genesis, the vibe, everything that goes on with calypsos. It is bringing issues to the fore that needs to be rectified. And so if Sai said in song that the DPP, he didn't call Sherma's name. And to me, that is where that matter really lies on. That is where it is hinged. That is where it is pinned on. If Sai said in song, or if anybody says in song, the DPP throws out matter willy-nilly or whatever it is, and that is not justice, words to that effect, Sai did not call Sherma the Rimple name. Sherma the Rimple today is the holder of that position. That's a fact. But there were many people who held that position as DPP before. There will be many more people way past gone Sherma who will be holding that position into the future. And so if the holder of that DPP's position today takes umbrage with what Sai said in song as to it was directed at her personally, then that is left for Sherma to defend in court. But I ain't see that going nowhere. I ain't see that going nowhere, trust me. And of course, it is a fact. And I don't think no lawsuit can stand under factual situation or situations. And so when Sai said in song, the DPP throws out cases in his mind, in his song, he's not wrong. We have had a number of cases in Dominica, people, that the DPP's office that Sherma Rimple is heading throughout. And as it is standing, once these cases are thrown out, the DPP, as per the constitution and regulation, whatever it is, basically has no reason to give any reason or reasons why these cases are thrown out to the Dominican public. It is left to her discretion. And so I need Sherma Dalrymple to know tonight that that is the case with her sitting as DPP. A number of cases were done away with under her watch. And she had no rationale, no reason, no explanation, nothing given to the public. Because the Constitution of Dominica embodies her, empowers her with that kind of a vested authority. So if she think that based on what she saw, what she's seen, in her mind, that case cannot go nowhere, it is her prerogative to throw it out. And that has been the case on a number of situations, be it wrong or right. And so I find it very difficult for the holder of that office today to take side to task now for saying in song what have been done by a number of DPPs before, and she now is in that position. We had the latest case. It is recorded somewhere in DNO or some online article. The latest case where these petitions after the 2019 general elections, so many ball situation, I'm saying, went on in that election. The official opposition party and the members and whoever it is took some of these matters to court in terms of treating bribery and whatever it is of the 2019 sham, where we saw with our eyes how the election was stolen in big broad daylight. And when these people brought that matter to court in particular, the same DPP, Sherma Dalrymple, by the stroke of a pen or by these utterances, that case did not see the light of day. And we well know the tracking back of it, in that a number of lawyers for the government side came and told the nation publicly what they think the DPP should do with that case in particular. And so, are you telling me that Sherma did not hear these lawyers' expressions? And so what am I supposed to believe, or what am I supposed to think as an ordinary man on the ground? Having heard some of their top-notch lawyers said certain things, and the DPP now went exactly along those lines and did exactly what was expressed by these lawyers. What am I supposed to think? And so, Dominicans, we are in a very bad place. We are in a very bad place. And so, Sherma said that the Song of Sai defamed her, or is defaming her name or character, whatever it is. So it is she now to prove to the court that whatever she said or she's saying, it really and truly is happening. But there's also a saying that goes, be very, very careful what you ask for. Be very, very careful what you ask for. And so it may well be that avenue that the whole of the DPP's office is taking it may well be that is the opening that is needed so that we in Dominica could know much more as to what really and truly have been going on where law, justice, and order is concerned. Dominicans, we are at a bad state. The number of cases that are there in legal limbo in that system that needs to be done away with, dispensed of, in the interest of justice. To me, the whole of the DPP's office is in the right position to help deal with that situation and more. And so it really baffles me now why somebody in that position would spend quality time not attending to what they really have to do in terms of helping justice be dispensed of, and get themselves tied up in that whole quagmire as it pertains to people or side in that manner, making some allegedly remarks where she said that her character, whatever it is, she's defeated. The Dominicans, we watch, we wait, and we continue to plow on, as it were, where Dominica is concerned. Trust me, there's much more in the mortar than the person. Let's just keep a level head and see how things unfold in Dominica. Yeah. Let me see if I could take some of your comments before I hurry on. It is 20 minutes past, so we have to hurry on tonight. Someone is saying there to me, I hear on Calypso program this morning on DBS that Sai wrote an apology letter. Okay, well, that is one person writing. I did not hear that myself, so I cannot vouch for that, but based on who is saying that, I would want to think you heard that really and truly. All right, but I would want to get that from Lisa himself as to the contents of the apology, what was he apologizing for, and how he thinks that apologizing could rectify that situation. All right, but thanks nonetheless for your comment. Let's see if we could take some of your comments there before we hurry on in 10 minutes time. Someone is still asking me about some situation of Hampstead. All right, folks, in the interest of time, let me just get to that. We heard of Mr. the premier of the BVI, former premier that is. He was arrested sometime last year in the US in Miami. And it says here from a factual standpoint, I'm reading now from Nationwide 90 FM, a 12-member Miami federal jury on Thursday found former premier of the British Virgin Islands, that is Mr. Andrew Fahey, guilty of conspiring to import cocaine into the United States along with 3 related money laundering and racketeering charges. Jurors deliberated for only 4 hours before reaching their decision on the BVI's premier's fate. Faye was arrested in 2022 in Miami following a U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration sting operation. It ends by saying he faces up to life imprisonment at his sentencing that is scheduled for April 29th before the U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams. All right. So Faye, yes, former premier of the BVI. He was busted in 2022 with some sting operation, and also last week was found guilty of a number of charges, 12 of them included. Okay. So since then, the BVI have been without his services as premier, and he sits in a jail awaiting his sentencing. Okay. Just before we leave, let me just give you guys as well some situation that occurred in the BVI as well. Let me just see if I could pull that up. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was caught on camera. Some young men, again in the BVI, robbing a jewelry store, I believe. And I think I have 2 videos I need to show you just before we move, at 7:30. Where are you? Yeah. This one here.
No, they're right there, one at the door.
Just pull that up here.
The somebody is gunman patrol, you know what?
Okay, folks, what you are, let me just pause that there. The video that you will be seeing, or you have seen already, is where in the BVI, 4 young men basically robbed a store. I believe, based on what I saw, robbed a jewelry store in Big Broad Daylight. 4 young men. And they thought they could make good their escape, but I am being told that about an hour thereabout after the police caught them. And so I want to think that they are still in police custody awaiting some charge or charges as it relates to that crime. But take a look at they trying to make the escape now, and I'm going to try to show you another one where they were inside the building for at least 2 minutes and trying to get some of the jewelry.
No, they're right there, one at the door. The somebody is gunman patrol, you know.
So folks, this here is one man, right? That is one man here outside the building, basically have some kind of assault rifle in his hand, on the lookout as it were, and the 3 others are in there robbing what seems to me as a jewelry store.
What the hell? And one at the door.
This is crazy, Mr.
Now the people that you're hearing speaking, just for context, somebody had a phone, a telephone, basically recording in real time what was happening at the time when that thing was going down. All right, so it was being recorded live by someone with a cellular phone.
Yeah.
The police?
He watching the man them on the stove.
Yeah, he watching for them.
The men know they supply
You
them
see
having
kind
them
of gun this
coffee
one guy
and
here?
the men
You
run.
see what he got? This one will get clear. You're watching in Israel or no? So I
move from my window. I move from my window.
So that's 1, that's 2, 3 of them. 3
4.
Okay, watch the building. Get a plate.
So folks, four young men robbed that jewelry store of its contents, and they were trying to make good their escape. All right.
Get a plate.
It's a Kia.
Get a plate. It's right there downstairs by your Kia store rent. No, it's
No, do you see right here, people? Right here. There's a camera right outside the building right there. So all that escaping these young men thought they were doing, that camera would have picked up everything that happened in terms of trying to make the escape. All right, so at least that camera was outside. Good. Let me see if I can get to the other clip before we close, whereby it was showing what was happening on the inside. Okay? Let me see if I could get to that clip. Before we bring everything to a wrap. This one, I believe, yeah. This one. This one here. I think we pulled it up. Okay, so let me just explain what is happening there, people. That is now another camera inside the building itself. And we're going to see at least 2 minutes footage of at least 2 or 3 of the men inside the building robbing that store in real time.
That's it.
So you see they came in, the men came in, one of them is right here with his bag. These 2 women, I don't know if they're workers or they were just shopping around, but they're very, very shocked as to what is happening in big broad daylight. These 2 women, they held each other, one held the other one, and they are in like really shock because these young men, one is right here, the others are at the back of the counter area and maybe in another area robbing that jewelry store in big broad daylight. Let's continue. So now there's another woman joined these 2 women. 3 of them now, they are really on their knees in the store, really afraid for their life. And in the same breath, we can see 1 and 2 of them across here robbing that store. So basically what I saw as well, what I can notice here is that these thugs, I call them, the doorway or the entry to the jewelry section was not easily accessible. So they pounded with their weapons or whatever they had in their hand and basically broke a certain area so that they could make good in terms of getting access to what is supposed to be the jewelries. So they are now cleaning out the showcase. You see, he bursting the glass with the gun. Shots are being fired as well. Look, he put his magazine with his ammunition right up here, and they're cleaning out the showcase. Look, more shots are being fired. Trays have been offloaded into their bags. Trays of jewelry. More shots have been fired. All right, folks, that is something else. That happened, people in the BVI, yeah? That happened in the BVI just this week, Wednesday, Thursday, thereabout. But what I can report to you is that about an hour after, based on the sloppy work that was done there by these four guys, these four thieves, then they were caught about an hour after, based on what I heard, and the law is taking its course now. But it was a very frightening situation. At least, the good thing in all that, at least they did not harm anybody inside of there, any of the women or anybody inside the store in trying to get to their prized possessions. All right. So, folks, that is it for me in terms of program content for tonight. It's 7:33, and so I have to go. All right. It is raining out there. Please, if you're traveling by car or by foot, please travel safe because it is raining a lot out there. And so, you know, you just have to be very, very careful in this scheme of things. All right, Dominicans, thank you very much. See you tomorrow at 6 o'clock for the Civic Vibes program. Yours truly signing out. Remember, the conversation continues with Alex Bruno and brother Ian Jacko Jackson, where the conversation on the art form continues in Dominica. All right, thank you very much, Dominicans. See you till we see tomorrow at about the 6 o'clock hour. All right, thank you. Let me just leave you guys with this one from Burning Spear, and we'll be out.